Imagine a team of financial super geniuses. Nobel Prize winners, Wall Street legends, and mathematical wizards. Now imagine that this team built a hedge fund so sophisticated, so powerful, that the entire financial world believed it could never fail. But it did fail, spectacularly. This is the story of long-term capital management, or LTCM, the hedge fund that made billions, before losing it all, nearly bringing down the global economy in the process. In this video, we'll explore the lessons from Roger Lowenstein's When Genius Failed, a gripping chronicle of hubris, risk, and the illusion of certainty in the world of high finance. In the early 1990s, Wall Street was in awe of a new breed of financial minds, the quants. They believed that markets could be predicted, even mastered, through mathematical models. John Meriwether, a legendary bond trader from Salomon Brothers, was one of these minds. After leaving Salomon in 1991, he gathered a dream team of financial experts. Among them were two Nobel Prize-winning economists, Myron Scholes and Robert Merton, the men behind the famous Black-Scholes option pricing model. With such firepower, investors lined up to hand them money. Banks, pension funds, and wealthy individuals poured in billions. LTCM launched in 1994 with over $1 billion in capital, a record for its time. Their mission? To exploit small inefficiencies in global markets, tiny mispricings between similar financial instruments, and use massive leverage to turn small profits into huge returns. And at first, it worked like magic. For the first 3 years, LTCM was unstoppable. In 1995, they made returns of 42%. In 1996, another 40%. Even in 1997, while the Asian financial crisis rattled markets, LTCM still delivered profits. The financial elite hailed them as unstoppable geniuses. Their models seemed to defy risk. The fund grew to control assets worth over $126 billion, with only $4.7 billion of investor money. That's 25-to-1 leverage, a dangerous ratio that meant even a small move against them could wipe everything out. But LTCM's founders believed they had tamed volatility. Their computers and equations told them what should happen, and they trusted the math. Then came 1998, the year when reality destroyed their perfect equations. That summer, the Russian government defaulted on its debt. Global markets panicked. Investors fled to safety, buying U.S. treasuries and dumping riskier assets. In theory, LTCM's positions were safe. Their models said such a scenario, where all markets moved in the same direction, was statistically impossible. But the impossible happened. Their carefully balanced trades, built on tiny differences between bond prices, began collapsing. Positions that were supposed to be uncorrelated suddenly all fell together. In a matter of weeks, LTCM lost $550 million, then $2 billion, and soon $4 billion. They had borrowed so heavily that even minor losses became catastrophic. The geniuses had failed. By September 1998, LTCM was on the brink of collapse, and its failure threatened to drag the global financial system down with it. Why? Because nearly every major bank on Wall Street was connected to LTCM through loans, trades, or shared positions. If LTCM went bankrupt, it could trigger a domino effect of losses across the financial system. The U.S. Federal Reserve, alarmed by the potential crisis, stepped in. In an extraordinary move, they called together the CEOs of the biggest Wall Street firms, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Merrill Lynch, and others, to organize a $3.6 billion bailout of LTCM. No taxpayer money was used, but the event revealed a terrifying truth. One hedge fund, run by a handful of brilliant men, had become too big to fail. LTCM was liquidated, its partners humiliated, and investors suffered massive losses. But the lessons from When Genius Failed still echo through Wall Street today. Models can't predict human behavior. Markets are driven by fear and greed, not formulas. When panic strikes, the math breaks. Leverage magnifies risk. Borrowing money to make money works until it doesn't. LTCM's 25-to-1 leverage turned small losses into an existential crisis. Hubris is the enemy of wisdom. Even Nobel laureates can fall victim to overconfidence. Intelligence without humility is a recipe for disaster. The system is fragile. When one big player falls, everyone feels the shockwaves. The LTCM crisis foreshadowed the 2008 financial meltdown. As Roger Lowenstein puts it, the genius of finance lies not in predicting the future, but in surviving it. LTCM's story is not just a tale about a hedge fund, it's a warning. A warning about how confidence can blind even the smartest minds. How success can breed arrogance. And how, sometimes, the greatest lesson in finance is knowing that you're not smarter than the market. So, the next time someone tells you they've found a way to beat the market, remember the story of long-term capital management. And how even geniuses can fail. If you enjoyed this summary and want to learn more about the rise and fall of financial empires, make sure to subscribe for more book breakdowns on money, investing, and human psychology. Because on this channel, we don't just read books, we learn from the mistakes of history.